Have you ever sat across from her and felt that quiet dread in your chest? Like she's right there, but slowly slipping away emotionally, and you don't know how to stop it? What if the next questions you ask could shift her attraction completely, not by playing games, but by touching the hidden parts of her heart she's been waiting for someone to see? Most people will never know this truth. They stay stuck in safe, shallow conversations while the spark slowly dies. I'm here as your mentor to reveal what you were never supposed to know about male and female psychology. Attraction isn't mainly about looks or status. It lives in the deep emotional subconscious, especially for women. When a man creates real emotional safety mixed with genuine depth, something powerful shifts inside her. The modern dating world has lied to all of us. It convinced men that confidence and money were enough. It told women the right man would simply understand them without effort. Both sides end up exhausted and disconnected. That's why so many good people across the USA, UK, and Canada feel lonely even while in relationships. The bridge across that loneliness is courageous conversation, not therapy talk. Real, raw questions that bypass the masks we wear every day. The first question is this: what's one memory from your childhood that still affects how you see yourself today? Don't rush it. Choose a quiet moment. Put your phone away and look her in the eyes. This question takes her back to the little girl she once was, the one who formed her deepest beliefs about love, worth, and safety. Most men never go there. They keep conversations light and surface level. When she answers, the room often changes. She may pause, she may tear up. That unease you feel in that moment is exactly where superficial attraction turns into something deeper. You stop being just a guy she's seeing and become the man who truly sees her. This works because of how female psychology operates. Many women learn early to perform, to be agreeable, to protect everyone else's feelings. Very few are ever invited to be fully real. When you create that invitation and hold space without judgment or trying to fix her, her nervous system registers you as safe. Safety plus emotional depth is the exact combination that creates lasting attraction. I watched this question save a marriage in Manchester. After 22 years, a woman finally told her husband how her father leaving at age 9 still made her panic whenever he was emotionally distant. For the first time, he understood her. That single conversation became the turning point that brought them back together. The second question builds on the first. What parts of yourself do you feel you have to hide from most people, and why? This one creates even more unease because it touches shame. Every person has parts they hide. When you invite her to reveal them without judgment, you do something extremely rare. You tell her, I want to know the real you, the one you're afraid to show. Her attraction shifts because you're no longer relating to her public mask. You're connecting with her hidden self. This triggers deep bonding. The brain releases chemicals that feel a lot like falling in love. It's the psychology of accelerated intimacy. Ladies watching this, listen carefully. If a man asks you these questions and actually listens, really listens, without interrupting or jumping in with his own story, pay close attention. That is emotional maturity. That is rare. That is the kind of man worth investing your heart in. Men, understand this. Asking these questions is self-improvement at its core. Every time you have these conversations, you become a stronger, more emotionally intelligent man. You stop reacting out of fear and start becoming the kind of man high-value women never want to lose. The third question completes this first layer. If you could go back and tell your younger self one thing that would have saved her a lot of pain, what would it be? This moves her from past wounds into wisdom. It lets her show you who she has become through her struggles. When she shares that wisdom with you, she begins to associate you with her growth, not just her comfort. These questions are not tricks. They are tools for building authentic connection. The women in your life have been waiting for someone brave enough to ask them, not because they want to be fixed, but because they want to be truly known. You may feel nervous thinking about asking these. That nervousness is the price of admission to a completely different kind of relationship, the kind where she looks at you like you're the only person who truly sees her. This is the truth most dating advice will never tell you. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your connections, and your connections determine the quality of your entire life. Start with these 3. Try one this week. Notice how the energy between you changes. Notice how she begins to lean in, how her voice softens, how she starts opening doors she's kept closed for years. You now hold knowledge that most men and women will never have. The question is whether you're brave enough to use it. Once you ask those first questions and she begins to open up, something changes in the air between you. You can feel it. The superficial version of her starts to fall away and the real woman emerges. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people never face. One deep conversation isn't enough. If you stop there, the shift in her attraction will be temporary. The real power comes when you keep going deeper, when you prove this isn't a one-time performance, but who you actually are. Most men get scared right at this point. They feel the emotional intensity rising and they retreat back to safe topics. They crack a joke or change the subject. That single retreat can undo everything you just built. Women notice, they feel the withdrawal, and that old wall goes right back up, sometimes stronger than before. This is the hidden psychology hardly anyone talks about. Attraction doesn't live in the first vulnerable moment. It grows in the second, third, and fourth ones when she realizes you're not just visiting her depths, you're willing to stay there with her. Ladies, if you're watching, this is important for you too. When a man stays present through these conversations, it reveals his true character. Many women have been burned by men who pretended to want depth but couldn't handle it. The man who can, he becomes unforgettable. Here are the next questions that take this to the next level. The 4th question, what are you most afraid people would think about you if they truly knew everything about your past? This one cuts straight into shame and fear of judgment. When you ask it, you're showing her that you want the unfiltered version of her story, not the polished one she shows the world. Her answer will often reveal old mistakes, regrets, or painful chapters she's carried alone. The key is how you respond. Do not fix, do not judge. Simply say, "Thank you for trusting me with that." That single sentence can create an emotional bond most couples never achieve in decades. I once worked with a woman from Chicago in her early 30s. She had been married for 7 years, but felt completely unseen. Her husband asked her this question one night after she had used the earlier ones from our first conversation. She broke down and admitted she had an abortion at 19 that she had never told anyone about, not even him. The shame had been poisoning their intimacy for years. That conversation didn't just shift her attraction, it healed something deep inside her. For the first time in their marriage, she felt truly safe to be all of herself with him. The 5th question is equally powerful. In your darkest moments, what do you need most from someone who loves you? This question moves from her past into her present needs. It forces her to reveal how she wants to be loved when she's at her lowest. Most people assume they know how to love their partner. Very few ever ask directly. When she tells you her real answer, whether it's "I need silence and space," or "I need you to hold me and tell me I'm not alone," you now have the actual map to her heart. This is where male psychology meets female psychology. Men often want to be the hero who solves problems, but many women don't want their pain solved in that moment. They want to be witnessed. When you show her you understand this distinction, her respect and attraction deepen dramatically. The 6th question takes it even further. What does real intimacy look like to you, and how often do you feel it in your life right now? This question creates massive unease because it forces her to admit if she's not feeling it with you. But that honesty is the turning point. If she says she doesn't feel it often, you've just opened the door to create it together. This is where attraction stops being passive and becomes an active, living bond between two people. Here's what's really happening psychologically. Every time she answers these questions honestly, her brain is wiring you to her most vulnerable emotions. You're becoming associated with safety, acceptance, and emotional freedom. That combination is magnetic. It's why some women suddenly start texting first, wanting to spend more time with a man, or looking at him with new intensity. The attraction has shifted from surface level to soul level, but you must be willing to reciprocate. After she answers, offer your own honest response. Let her see your fears and needs too. This mutual vulnerability is what separates real connection from emotional entertainment. For the men watching who are over 40, understand this. It's never too late. Many of you grew up being told emotions were weakness. That belief has cost you deeply in love. These questions are your chance to rewrite that story, not just for her, but for the man you're becoming. For the women here, use this knowledge wisely. You now understand what real emotional leadership looks like. You can either wait for a man to ask these, or you can ask similar versions to the man in your life and see if he's capable of meeting you there. The truth is, very few people ever experience this depth in their entire lifetime. Most relationships stay in the shallow end until they slowly die of emotional starvation. You now have the tools to save yours or build a new one that actually lasts. But we're not done. There are still deeper waters most people are too afraid to enter. Waters that determine whether her attraction becomes temporary fascination or permanent devotion. The choice to keep going is yours. The deeper you go with her, the more you will feel the weight of what you're doing. This isn't light anymore. You're no longer just having an interesting conversation. You are stepping into the sacred territory of her heart, and that responsibility is heavy. Many people turn back here. They sense the power and the risk, and they choose comfort instead of continuation. But if you stay, if you keep showing up with steady presence, something irreversible begins to happen inside her. Her attraction stops being a feeling and becomes an attachment. The psychology behind this is profound. When a woman repeatedly experiences safe vulnerability with a man, her brain starts to rewire. You move from being someone she enjoys to someone her nervous system now depends on for emotional regulation. This is the shift the title promised, but it only happens when you have the courage to keep asking the harder questions. Here are the next ones that take you into that territory. The seventh question: what do you deeply desire in a relationship that you've always been afraid to ask for? This question is dangerous in the best way. It forces her to name her unspoken needs. Many women have been shamed in the past for wanting too much, for being too emotional or too needy. When you ask this and truly want the answer, you give her permission to want again. Her response might surprise you. It could be something as simple as, "I want you to hold my face when you kiss me," or as deep as, "I want to feel like I'm your priority even when life gets busy." Whatever she says, you are now holding her raw desires. How you respond in the following days and weeks will either cement the attraction or break the trust you've built. This is where self-improvement becomes real. You will be forced to look at whether you can actually meet those needs or if you've been lying to yourself about what you can give. The eighth question cuts even deeper. When was the last time you felt completely safe to be yourself with someone, and what made it feel safe? This question reveals her trust blueprint. Her answer will show you exactly what makes her feel secure and what destroys that security. You will learn more about her in 5 minutes than most men learn in 5 years. Listen for the small details. The way she talks about feeling safe will tell you everything about her attachment style and her deepest fears in love. I'll never forget the story of a man from Vancouver who used this question with his girlfriend of 2 years. She had grown cold and distant. When he asked, she admitted that her last relationship ended because her ex mocked her for crying during movies. She had been hiding her sensitive side from him ever since. That conversation became the moment she said she fell back in love with him, not because he was perfect, but because he became the first man who made it safe to be fully human. The ninth question is the one that often changes everything. What would have to happen for you to trust someone with your whole heart, no holding back? This question plants a seed. You are no longer talking about the past or present. You are talking about the future, and whether that future includes total surrender to the relationship. Her answer will reveal her final walls, her last protections. Some women will cry when answering this. Others will become very quiet. Both reactions mean you have reached the core. This is the moment where her attraction can shift from strong to undeniable. You are showing her that you are thinking long-term, that you understand the gravity of real love, and that you are willing to earn her complete trust. In female psychology, trust is the ultimate aphrodisiac. When it is present, almost everything else falls into place. Men, this process will change you too. You cannot walk through these conversations and remain the same person. You will either rise and become more mature, more grounded, more worthy of love, or you will be exposed as someone who was never ready. There is no middle ground. Women, I'm speaking directly to you now. You deserve a man who is willing to have these conversations. You deserve to be asked what you truly need and what you fear. Never feel guilty for wanting depth. The man who runs from these questions was never going to be able to hold your heart anyway. By now, you should understand that these questions are not techniques. They are a mirror. They reveal who both of you really are. Some relationships will grow stronger, others will end, and that is okay. Because staying in a shallow relationship that can never meet these depths is a slow form of emotional death. The discomfort you feel while having these talks is the price of a love that actually means something. The people who avoid this discomfort are the same ones who later complain that love isn't what it used to be. You are now among the few who know better. There is still one final layer left. The questions that bring everything together and create the kind of bond that lasts for decades. The ones that turn attraction into devotion. But only if you're ready to hear them. You've come this far. Most people quit long before this point. They taste the depth, feel the discomfort, and retreat to safety. But you're still here, which tells me you're different. You actually want something real. Now I'm going to give you the final questions that seal the shift in her attraction, the ones that move her from feeling drawn to you to feeling deeply devoted to you. These last questions are the most powerful because they speak directly to her soul, not just her emotions. When a woman answers these honestly, she is making a decision in her subconscious that you are someone worth bonding with at the deepest level. The 10th question, what does your soul actually crave in love that you've rarely, if ever, said out loud? This question bypasses everything she's been taught to want and goes straight to her core. Her answer may shock both of you. She might say she craves to be pursued even when she pushes away, or that she wants to feel spiritually connected to her partner. Whatever she reveals, you are now holding the map to her innermost desires. This is where true attraction becomes something almost sacred. The 11th question, how do you want to be remembered by the person you love most? This question forces her to think about legacy and meaning. It's not about today or next month. It's about how she wants to feel when she looks back on this relationship years from now. Her answer will show you what she values most. Being protected, being inspired, being forgiven, being seen. Very few people ever ask this, which is exactly why it lands so powerfully. The 12th and final question is the one that binds everything together. If we were to build something truly meaningful together, what would you need from me, and what would you be willing to give? This question turns everything you've discussed into a shared future. It moves you both from individual vulnerability into collective commitment. It asks her to step into the possibility of us instead of just me and you. When she answers this, the shift in her attraction often becomes permanent. She begins to see you as a potential life partner, not just a boyfriend or dating option. Men, these 12 questions will transform you as much as they transform her. You will become more self-aware, more emotionally strong, and more worthy of the kind of love you desire. This is the deepest form of self-improvement because it forces you to grow in the arena that matters most, your capacity to love and be loved. Women, you now have the blueprint. You understand what real emotional leadership looks like. You know the questions that reveal whether a man is capable of the depth you deserve. Use this knowledge to choose better and to communicate your needs more clearly. The truth I've been revealing across these conversations is simple but heavy. Shallow relationships are everywhere because shallow conversations are easy, but a relationship built on these questions becomes something rare and valuable. It becomes a place where both people feel truly known. I've seen marriages on the edge of divorce come back stronger than ever after these conversations. I've seen women who had closed their hearts reopen them completely. I've seen men who felt lost in love suddenly find their confidence and purpose through mastering this kind of emotional connection. The shift isn't magic, it's psychology. When you consistently show up with courage, curiosity, and compassion, her attraction naturally evolves from interest to emotional dependence to lasting devotion. She doesn't just want you, she feels like she needs the version of herself she becomes when she's with you. This is what they never told you. The game was never about being the funniest or the most successful. It was always about who was brave enough to go beneath the surface and stay there. So here's my final truth to you. The quality of your love life will never exceed the quality of your conversations. You now have the questions. The only thing left is your willingness to use them. If you've been watching this and feeling that mix of hope and fear in your chest, good. That means you're ready to change your life. I want to ask you a personal question right now. What is the one question you've been most afraid to ask in your current or past relationship, and why? Drop your honest answer in the comments below. I read every single one. If this video touched something deep in you, if you feel like it revealed truths you were never supposed to know, then do 3 things for me. Hit the like button. It helps these important messages reach more people. Subscribe and turn on notifications because we're going much deeper into male and female psychology, dating dynamics, and self-improvement in the next videos. And most importantly, share this video with one friend who needs to hear this. Send it to the man who's struggling in his marriage or the woman who keeps attracting the wrong people. You might just change their entire life. Thank you for staying with me until the end. Now stop watching and start asking. Your future relationship is waiting on the other side of these conversations.